because you've come from a racing family, does your mum like to get behind the wheel or anything, or is she just a bit like, I'll just watch?
Yeah, she's not a race fan though. So she just supports us for it.
She's not a race fan.
Nah. She supports us, but in between races she'll hop in the motorhome or something and just grab a book and read a book, and then if I'm out on track again, she'll come out and watch it. Yeah. If it's raining, she'll just watch it on TV and read a book at the same time. So
does she get nervous when like you and your sisters race? Because Dan's mum gets very, very nervous, and she says to me either she can't watch it or go stand down in the pits, or she's running around in circles up the top trying to keep her nerves in check.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to find out, to be honest. But yeah, I think they're pretty calm. I think my parents are pretty calm with it all. I hope they are at least. But.
Your mum doesn't squeeze you like a vice grip. When I'm feeling it with my mum, she's like, she can't breathe, and I feel it when she's like, "Oh, you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I finished the race."
Yeah, I haven't had that experience yet. No. Yeah.
Do you know the backstory behind why the Rogers family decided to leave supercars? Did they just want to go in another direction and try something new because they are passionate racers? Do you know what I mean? Like, was that their reason, or?
I know a little bit. Not too sure of what I meant to say.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to say everything. You just what you know that you know.
Yeah. So I think
because they still help, like even yourself at Bathurst and even Jimmy, they still help guys get into supercars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So the Rogers. The Rogers are people that you'll never meet again in your life. Barry and Gary, whilst yes, they're dedicated to having me in the team and they want me to represent the team well and do well for Valvoline and Team GRM, they also want me to move on. They don't want to hold me in the same spot, but they don't want me to move on to a wrong team. So really, the whole business side of things might not agree with me moving on to supercars, but they want me to. They want me to move on to somewhere else and really get myself a career somewhere. So, yeah, they're very. I don't know, how they do it in a way. It's you find it quite crazy that some people will build you up to be the full package, and then they'll send you off to somewhere else happily and say that's their job done. They've really built their whole business model on just bringing young blokes through and turn them into professional drivers and moving you on. So it's you'll never meet them type of people again. Once they're gone in Australian motorsport, it'll definitely look a lot different. But I mean, for the whole ARG and supercars thing, I think for now ARG's got a really good deal with what we've got. It's starting to grow slowly, but it's starting to grow. We've had a lot of COVID stoppages, and really the whole ARG side of things is in my eyes a very good package because everyone's there to race. There's not too much of the politics and stuff behind the scenes. I've obviously had a fair deal of all that stuff in my times, but
it kind of reminds you of ARG a bit like the way Speedway, like you're racing Speedway this weekend, but it kind of reminds you of they just get out, as you said, get out there and race, where supercars is a bit more of a show. Do you know what I mean? Like you're always getting entertainment on track when you're racing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's, I mean, they both got their pros and cons. If they all, I mean, we collided together for Sydney and Bathurst last year, and that was absolutely awesome. Like I was part of two categories, both events. I didn't really get too much time to watch it, but it was just an awesome time.
Ricky literally said that last night. He was like, that was the best of it. Even Brooke, that was her first introduction to it all.
I said that was amazing. And that's why I was sad this year we didn't have it. But
they've definitely tried for it. There was rumours about it all happening again for Adelaide this year, which would have been absolutely huge.
Oh, bugger.
But that didn't happen. So yeah.
So you reckon that that could actually happen again in the future sometime? Because that would work as a fan anyway. That would work anyway because you just got the best categories. You know what I mean? And you're always on track, and it's just always entertaining. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, 110% it would work, but I don't know. It's there's some stuff behind the scenes. Going on that I'm not too sure on all the stuff. I just sort of rock up the helmet and drive, but I don't know if it'll happen, but I hope it will. Because at the end of the day, that was the best event I've been to, and it boosted bolstered the whole. Had trouble pronouncing that. But, bolstered the profile of everyone at the same time. So it was honestly just brought everyone in motorsport together for one event. Australian motorsport's not big enough to have two different parties fighting each other. If we all got together, I reckon it'd be a pretty big festival. So
away from the racing. Oh, what were you saying, Brooke?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think they've also got to deal with, you've got the TV rights, so you'd have Stan versus Fox, and trying to get everyone into a room to an agree is never going to be an easy thing. Yeah, when it comes to the management and the money, and it's always the media who are overseeing all of this. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got to ask Nate. The way back, we'll go back to the racing later because we've got plenty. We've apparently got plenty of time this morning. So it's wicked. I've got to ask because you've come from a racing family. Does your mum like to get behind the wheel or anything, or is she just a bit like I'll just watch?
Yeah, she's not a race fan though. So she just supports us for it.
She's not a race fan.
Nah. She supports us, but in between races she'll hop in the motorhome or something and just grab a book and read a book, and then if I'm out on track again she'll come out and watch it. If it's raining she'll just watch it on TV and read a book at the same time. So
does she get nervous when like you and your sisters race? Because Dan's mum gets very, very nervous, and she says to me either she can't watch it or go stand down in the pits, or she's running around in circles up the top trying to keep her nerves in check.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to find out, to be honest. But yeah, I think they're pretty calm. I think my parents are pretty calm with it all. I hope they are at least. But.
Your mum doesn't squeeze you like a vice grip. What I'm feeling with my mum, she's like, she can't breathe, and I feel it when she's like, "Oh, you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I finished the race."
I haven't had that experience yet. No.
So you got to tell me about like your dad obviously started Herne's Transport and all that. That's been a big company and a big well-known family and all that. And you've obviously had sponsorship connections as well through that as well. Like I think you had Shell in karts days and Formula Ford as well. So you've obviously had it happens in motorsport. You got to have connections through family companies and whatnot. So how did your connection with Shell? Because now you're with Valvoline. That's why I'm asking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that all came about actually through one of our other sponsors, North Coast Petroleum.
Yep.
Because they're actually from Lismore, but they're a major distributor for Northern Rivers for major oils. So basically, the Shell deal was a bit of a deal through him to represent Shell, which sort of was just sort of for him in a way. It wasn't really actually with Shell Australia. In Go-Karts, Formula Ford, the first year actually turned into a bit of a Shell Helix deal.
Yeah.
So they were actually on board for it, which is pretty cool.
They backed Formula Ford that year, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, so they got into it pretty quickly, which I thought was pretty cool. But they were very, very, everything had to be perfect. And we actually got in big trouble with the Formula Ford round because the logo didn't have a white outline around it and touched a bit of red.
Really? Yeah, so you showed the picture to them and they rejected it?
Well, they didn't reject it, but we got told we have to fix that or take the logo off. So
you've actually picked up a friendship with Dewey, who was helping out. Yeah, because you both are down in Victoria. Yeah, so that would have helped when you moved down to Victoria, there, didn't it?
Yeah, well, he moved down a year before me, but we met Sandown 2017, so we picked him up from the airport for Formula Ford.
Yeah, just randomly.
Yeah, just randomly. Yeah. I thought he was one of the other bloke's sons. And we're just. I was sitting in the middle seat. He was sitting in the left-hand side. We were driving into Sandown. Barely said a word to each other the whole trip. Yeah. And then I think we just started talking as we got into the track, and that was it. So then I found out he was a media guy. So I was like, oh, well, at least he knows what he's doing. And
once you get him going, though, he starts talking, Like, that's what people don't know about Dewey, who works for V8 Supercar Media. Yeah. Once you get him going, he's a nice dude. You just got to crack him, and then bang, he'll talk about anything and encourage you and everything. Yeah. He's got to be one of your biggest supporters, I'd say.
Yeah, he's a good mate of mine, and we've been through the whole pathway together, really. So he was one of the main reasons I got into TO2 in the first place. Yeah, he introduced us all the people we needed to, and then he's helped out a bit with the whole. When I got into GRM with a couple of media stuff and with Valvoline and so it's been a difference. I mean, you sort of take it for granted all the times. You sort of you meet people early on and they just sort of help you out, and then you do end up taking it for granted on how quickly life changes and how small little things that someone's done for you turns out to be a big thing later on. So,
Do you remember, obviously, with you racing for GRM, was it Moffat that was your first mentor, or was it Jimmy? Or was it both?
So Jimmy was just basically my teammate, but we just lived together. So he basically helped me become a bachelor. Yeah. Moff was very good. I have a lot of time for Moff. He's really helped me a lot with my racing. Yep. And also the off-track stuff. Moff is honestly one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life, and wish nothing but the best for him. But I remember the time I went into the workshop, he came in and we're just having a chat about stuff, and then he took me into Barry's office to have a chat, and And yeah, he told me about his way through the rankings. And,
So does Moff have an office there as well, or is it?
No. So he doesn't work at GRM. He has his own building business.
Yeah, right. I heard from on one of the stand coverage, he's one of the best real estate agents now going in Victoria or something.
You reckon? No, he would be able to sell a house, I reckon. But yeah, but no, look, Moff was he was big on me getting into where I am.
Yeah.
He's been on the camps with me for all the S5000 rounds, and the Gold Coast round we actually finally broke through for a win.
Yeah, that was actually wicked, man. You dominate. That was your first. Was that the first time you've dominated S5000 completely? Like
first time I got a win.
Yeah,
every
it wasn't
time
one win; it was three, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was first ever clean sweep of anyone in S5000. So
when was the last time you did that? Formula Ford or
clean sweep?
Yeah, clean. Oh, we've done that. Sorry, we've done that in Trans Am
Yeah.
heaps, but I mean like in open wheeler.
No, Formula Ford. Yeah, Formula Ford in Vic and New South Wales State Series. National Series, I never. Yeah, it was the same story. I didn't get a win till my last ever race.
Yeah.
So I was always second or third. I can just never break through for the top step. So yeah. I think there was a time in Formula Ford where I had four races in a row. I finished second by less than half a tenth. So I got out dragged by a line 3 times at Phillip Island and once at Sydney.
Yeah. With Brett Francis, you've had so many good mentors, man. Brett Francis is another one.
Yeah.
Like He's also helped mature drivers. Like you had Shields. It was Shields your teammate that year as well?
Cam Shields,
Yeah, so both of you are still racing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about like your time with Brett Francis, you know?
Yeah, so Brett was really good. We went to this originally in Formula Ford, we had a bloke come to us to say, do you want to drive Formula Ford? He had his car at Lismore Young Guns. And that deal turned out to have a bit of hair on it. So yeah. Will Brown's old man Shane actually got in contact with Dad because he heard this bloke had gone around saying that I was driving next year with him. And Shane heard and he said, "Mate, don't do that. Go with Brett."
Yep.
So we went to Brett, went for a test day, and just loved it. And then I don't think we were going to race. And then we done one more test day, and then I'd like the first test day I was useless, just sort of beating around and having a bit of fun. Couldn't get my head around hill towing. I went home. Bought myself a set of G29 pedals, which were I think $140, $180, something like that.
This is to help you to learn heel toe.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then practice in my sister's old paddock basher as well.
Yeah,
to get some real life stuff, and then went back into the Formula Ford. I think it was 2 weeks later, and then I was on pace. So then Brett's like, oh well, let's just go to National Series straight away.
Yeah, I've heard different techniques about heel towing though. Like obviously, some people do the full if it's on the camera. Like that, and some people. Wally's story came on here, right? And he tells us he goes down and then you push up. Do you know? Have you heard of that? Yeah, like you push up and you just slightly hit the throttle. So it's like you hit the brake. You've never heard of that?
Never heard of that.
Oh, that's like probably from the 1970s then.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wal.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so you learnt from that pretty much on your sister's paddock basher and this is your first year in Formula Ford to get it right, or is it?
Yeah, this is before first year, so I was just fresh 14.
Yeah.
We done 2 test days, so then we went to Sandown for the first round. Yeah, I think it was 2 months before I actually raced was when the last time I was in the car or something like that. It was a month maybe. And that was at Morgan Park, so I went from Morgan Park to Sandown, which is a bit of a change of pace, especially since I was only on a short track at Morgan Park, so I never really got past 100 and probably 160k an hour, and go to Sandown, you're doing 230. So is
Morgan Park like? Because I've never been there. Is that like a bit like Wakefield, or what's it like compared to?
I'd probably say even smaller straight than Wakefield. Good little track, busy.
Can you pass there though, or not? Or is it more of a?
You could pass. You'd have to be pretty good, but you'd be able to.
It's like a Martinsville of state racing, is it?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was a really good. I mean, the people who ran that track were awesome. I mean, they helped us out in TO2 as well, and let us on track a few times when we shouldn't have been on track. So you do meet some good people in life and racing, and the people at the country clubs like Morgan Park and Wakefield are the ones that really are top people who will give you everything.
What do you think about the whole Wakefield scenario?
I mean, it is what it is. It's motorsport, but I mean, the racetrack's been there for a long time, so I don't see why the houses should be complaining. But
we touched on your Formula Ford stuff. Back to your karting. Do you remember your first go-kart? Was it like under a Christmas tree or anything like that, or? Do you remember any characteristics? Was it like a shitty second-hand kart? Do you know what I mean?
I always had my sister's hand-me-downs.
Okay,
so my sister had a hand-me-down from some random, and I had that hand-me-down
from some random. So it was a hand-me-down of a hand-me-down of a hand-me-down.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I still remember first time we got one was my sister's birthday, and Jesus, we decided she would let me. So we'd do 2 laps up and down.
Yeah.
And so it was her go-kart. So she had the whole dictatorship of the go-kart.
Yeah.
And it had no engine or anything in it. It was just a rolling chassis as it was.
Yeah.
And Dad was at work the day that we got it, 'cause it was a Saturday. And we had like a hill down a driveway that we would push it up and down.
Yeah.
So
you and your sister would?
Yeah. So she would go for 2 goes up and down, and I'll go for 1.
Yeah.
But every time I had to push it up the hill again.
So she would just walk back up and
she
make
would just
you
walk
push.
back up, and I had to push it up. So just so I could have a go. That was her rules, and I still remember being absolutely rooted. But finally got my first chance to go on it, and I just went down there full pelt and loved it. So that was fun. That's my first memory of a go-kart. It was a Cosmic chassis actually.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Yeah. Thankfully, I didn't have to keep pushing it after that. So we strapped a motor to it, and that was good.
Yeah, and was it midgets or rookies back then?
That was midgets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Coma engines.
Oh, so it was before the doing era. So you
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I grew up with Jack in go-karts.
Okay, Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, I think he started 2 or 3 years after me, 2 years after me, because he was a year younger. So I think he started when he was 7 and a bit.
Yep.
He raced dirt bikes before then, I think. And then his dad said, "Nah, enough of 2 wheels, let's go 4." And it was definitely different growing up with Jack. We were good mates there for a while. And then
Then the red mist came on.
stuff happens, and you sort of lose that. But
Did Oscar Piastri race in your era though? Or was
yes,
it?
he did.
Okay.
So I only got to race him a couple times. So I raced him before he went to Europe.
Yep.
And when he went to Europe and came back, he started dominating. And then he raced in KA3 when he came back. So
Did you ever want to do that type of European karting like Joey and Oscar and all that, or were you just focused on the Australian scene? Was that your goal at the time in karts or not?
100% it was. But I just never had money to do that. So especially when my whole family raced. So if I got to do something, my whole family had to do something.
So if you're racing, your sisters come with you.
Yeah,
And
basically.
probably pushing you out of the go-kart.
Yeah, and I don't think, Dad was not having that happen. So I don't think he'd be able to afford 3 people going over.
So is Tash, you're racing obviously here this weekend, but is Tash racing she's racing, is it
AMCAR.
wingless?
No, AMCAR.
AMCAR.
Yeah, so
You got to tell me more about these like Speedway classes. I'm still learning as we go. Brooke as well.
Yeah.
So like, how many classes has not only your dad raced, but yourself and whatnot? Like you did sprint cars in Tasmania a year ago, I think.
Yep.
So
So I've always wanted to race Speedway. I was never actually meant to go Bitchman racing. Bitchman all started out that deal from Lismore Young Guns, and it just kept snowballing into what it is today. And then somehow I've done a full loop now. I'm back in Speedway again, which is cool. But I always wanted to go Speedway. Speedway was all I wanted. Dad's whole ordeal was, he was gonna have us pit crew in his car, all 3 of us, and then he was gonna retire. So I had to turn 12, and he got to 6, and then he broke his back. Missed out by a couple of years, but so I was always meant to get to age 12. He was going to do that season. Then I was going to race junior sedans, which are little 4-cylinder cheap cars. Then just sort of progress through there and work a normal life and live a normal life and race Speedway cars on weekends.
Do you still
most
make
people do.
so this weekend? I don't know if it'll happen this weekend because it's a brand new circuit, or not a brand new circuit, it's a brand new speedway. But do you still make like purse money or tow money, as we got mistakenly taken on social media? Do you still make a bit of purse money with some events in Speedway, or is it just in America?
No, you still do. In Australia, you do. Speedway's actually got it a lot better than what Bitchman does. And there's a lot of things that you look at when you race Speedway and you think, oh, geez, like we're backwards in Bitchman. Like our entry fees are so much dearer. But basically Speedway takes a percentage of the entry fees and distributes it. So the winner, no matter what event it is, could just be like a small club day with 4 cars. The winner gets most money, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then from 5th onwards is all equal.
Yeah, right.
To rock up. So, you get like a bit of a cash back with your entry fee.
So worst case scenario, you still get your money back from your entry fee?
I'm fairly sure it is, yes. At least I was Tassie Sprint Cars deal, which I like that. I was all for that.
Want to hear more? Each week we will share the hottest clips from our guest interviews on YouTube. But to hear the full episode, make sure to subscribe or follow us on your favourite podcast platform.